this is my 2026 artist journal. I hope over the next few weeks and months to rebuild my routine as a creative, to start making things on a weekly, if not daily basis. As an artist, I make mixed media, including embroidery. This here is a mini embroidery I recently completed. It is a small tui. This tui is done on an unprimed sheet of canvas that was completed on a embroidery hoop, as you would see with most traditional embroidery, though this is the only one I have done in this style. My average embroidery though is done directly onto primed and painted canvases like this one here. So this is my current work in progress. It is a bear cub. As you can see, I just embroider straight through the canvas, very slow, build up layer by layer, stitch by stitch. Embroidery this way isn't difficult, it is just very slow. My average artwork on a canvas this size, which is about a 10 by 10 inch canvas, will probably take 60 hours. And as you can see, that is the reference I'm using. This is where I'm at on Sunday the 4th of January. I've done a few different sessions on this. This here though is a completed embroidery. This is the Hereford on a 20-inch round canvas. This would be approximately 120 hours of embroidery. My process for doing embroidery though starts by colour blocking, so doing base layers of stitches in my main colours, and then going back in and adding the finer details. Most of my canvases are painted using resin test pots. That way I can touch up my artwork after I've done embroidery. That way, in case I poke a hole in the wrong spot, it's not the end of the world. But as you can see on this canvas, I originally had started another painting underneath, so with just one coat of the purple I used on the background, some magenta is still showing through. But I know from my process, as I've done quite a few of these now, that I'll go over and repaint that a few times, just to tidy up any pinholes that I've accidentally made while stitching. I generally won't use any thimbles while stitching. As I get back into the routine of doing embroidery as often as I was during this specific project, I do end up with a callus on my finger, on my pointer finger just underneath my first knuckle, as that's where the needle tends to sit as I push it through from the back. But I have found whenever using thimbles it's quite hard to control. I've tried with little silicone thimbles, the normal metal ones, and a few miscellaneous things people have sent me to try. On the back of a finished embroidery though, I do glue down the stitches so that they don't budge for whoever gets to enjoy it on completion. So this particular piece is finished with Mod Podge. So it's just glued down, so as you can see, no matter how much I touch these back stitches, nothing's moving. And all canvases that I complete are ready to hang. So anyone that chooses to buy my artwork and display it in their home, it is ready to hang for them. The Mod Podge doesn't seep through to the front though. The front of these embroideries are still nice and soft. You wouldn't even know that there was glue soaked through the back. And that there is the Hereford, which was inspired by my gran. And here we are, some of the needles that I will use for my different projects. I haven't found a specific set that I like. These are just a few different ones that I've tried between finding at the warehouse or my local sewing and fabric stores. Depending on if I'm doing the base layers of embroidery or the top additional finer details, I will alternate between the needles that I use it is not uncommon for me to break needles while doing embroidery, especially if I'm doing quite a large piece and pulling through multiple threads at once. This here is a pin cushion that I recently made using some thread scraps, some fabric that I found at a local thrift store, and a love heart little magnet just to stop the pins going through. It does the job. Messy little back, but it does what I need it to do. This here is another work in progress. This is one that I started in September of 2024, and being that it is now January 2026, it has been sat unfinished for quite some time. My current aim is to work through the teddy bear, get back into the routine of doing my embroidery, and then get back to doing this Mallard Dark and seeing what that final outcome of this piece will be. Hope this was interesting, and I hope that you enjoy seeing my process as I go forward in 2026. Thanks for watching.